Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Marriage, Money, and Mindset. We're your hosts. I'm Jared.
And I'm Alexis.
Welcome back to another episode of Marriage, Money, and Mindset, guys. We want to kick it off and say we apologize. We haven't been here. This been about 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
We've been busy, guys. We've been hustling, man. We've been on this money mission, trying to get it. But again, no excuses. So we're gonna try to continue to come to you like we promised every Monday at 5. That's what our goal is, and so we're gonna get back on that goal. So, but before we continue, we want to appreciate the returning subscribers, and we have a few new subscribers since the last time we've been on the channel. So we want to say appreciate y'all for coming to this channel and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. We drop content every Monday at 5 p.m. in regards to marriage, money, and mindset. Okay, so today we are going to be touching on the money topic of our channel.
Right. So today we're going to be talking about the introduction to Bitcoin, or why you should have Bitcoin in your portfolio.
Yeah, why you must have exposure to Bitcoin, right? So we talked about real estate on this channel. We talked about stocks on this channel. And now this is the third asset class that we want to discuss with y'all, which is Bitcoin, as you can see on my shirt here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So just for full transparency, we do have exposure to Bitcoin. So what we want to do today is basically introduce what Bitcoin is to y'all, for the ones who do not know what it is, and then also go into reasons why you should have exposure to Bitcoin. And we have 9 reasons why today. So do you want to kick us off?
Yes.
Well, before we start, guys, we are not financial advisors. Everything we're educating y'all on is just for educational purposes. So, because we get asked quite often, like, what is Bitcoin? You know what I'm saying? I've had quite a few people come to me and ask, and what is it? I mean, they just oblivious. So again, we want to be resourceful. You know what I'm saying? You still should do your own research even after watching this episode.
Yeah, don't take our word for it. There's several resources out here. Financial advisors that you can turn to just to make sure that we're talking about the right thing, telling you the right thing.
Exactly. So you want to kick it off, or you want me to start it? What you want to do?
I can kick it off.
Talk to me.
All right. So let's go over first, what is Bitcoin? So it's a digital currency. It's a form of cryptocurrency. It was created in 2009 by an anonymous person or group of people. Yeah, Satoshi Nakamoto.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't know who that person or that group is.
It could be several people, a group of people, one person. We don't know. Right. But that's the beauty of it, guys. That's the thing. That's what makes it truly decentralized. Okay, and we're going to go into what decentralized means here in a little bit. But just to give y'all some more reference, if y'all go to Google and type in Bitcoin white paper, that'll give you the entire breakdown. It's like 9 pages of what Bitcoin is. And we're about to talk about that here in a second too. It's a peer-to-peer network, right? That's what it was originally designed to be. Peer-to-peer network without having any central authority or intermediaries, allowing users to send and receive payments directly. So if I wanted to send my wife some Bitcoin or currency, I could do it with Bitcoin,
right,
without having any banks involved, without having any intermediaries involved with that transaction, right?
And the thing that I like about it the most is usually it's instantaneous.
Yeah, it is, right.
So you don't have to wait a long period of time like some of the other asset classes.
Right. Okay, so I mentioned decentralized, so I'm going to explain to you what that definition is. So it's just basically the distribution of functions, powers, or processes away from central authority. In layman's terms, decentralized means the control or power is spread out instead of being held by one central authority. So this makes the system fair, secure, and resilient. Basically what we just discussed a second ago, right?
All Bitcoin transactions are verified and recorded on the blockchain.
Right. There's a ledger. Right.
Yeah. So that's the ledger. The blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger that records all the transactions, and it's maintained by a network of computers. Those are called nodes. Exactly.
Right. Okay. So now we want to go into, we have 9 reasons, guys, why you want exposure to Bitcoin. Okay. So exposure to Bitcoin, it can be considered for several reasons risky, right? So that's with any investment, by the way, guys. I mean, you always have to, mitigate risk when you're attempting to invest in any asset class. Like, how do you mitigate risk? So we just wanted to put that out there before we continue, right? Okay, so here are some reasons why you might choose to have exposure to Bitcoin. So the number one reason is for diversification. We've talked about this diversification on this channel plenty of times. You want to have not all your eggs in one basket, right?
Right.
So this is definitely one asset class, in my opinion, you definitely want exposure to. And again, diversify your portfolio however you desire. It doesn't have. We're not telling you to sell the farm and put all your assets into Bitcoin, or a huge chunk of your assets or your net worth into Bitcoin. But you should have exposure. And when we're talking about crypto, guys, we're talking about just Bitcoin, right? That's all. I should have said that earlier. That's all we're going to focus on this episode is just Bitcoin, right? So yeah, number one reason why is for diversification, right? Okay, let's talk about the second reason.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
The second reason is for potential high returns. So historically, Bitcoin has experienced significant price increases. While past performances doesn't guarantee future results, some investors are attracted to its potential for high returns. So year over year, Bitcoin has been producing high returns, yielding high returns.
Yeah, I mean, it's very volatile. It has years where it has asymmetrical returns. Again, there's also years where it's had, some downtrend. But I have a chart here for the last, 10 years? And the returns have been astronomical for the majority of the time, on average. Basically, if you buy and hold this asset over the span of, 12 years? I mean, if you would have done that since 2012, I didn't average this out.
Yeah.
But
throughout the
thousands
whole
of percent in returns, guys, over the last 12. Again, past performance doesn't indicate future performance. However, we tend to actually currently going in a direction where the adoption of Bitcoin is increasing, right?
Right.
That adoption curve is increasing, right? But yeah, like Hershey just mentioned, the second reason, it has a potential for high returns. So, and then another place, guys, you can go do some research. We use this app. It's called Coin Market Cap. That's a great resource where you can go and actually look at pretty much all the fundamentals of Bitcoin, the market cap, which is the how much money is actually invested in Bitcoin. I mean, everything on there, it shows you, it's
all the stats of
all
Bitcoin.
the stats of Bitcoin, right? Yes, past performance, future or current performance, just like you would on, the stock market. Yeah, right. All right, so we already discussed that it has asymmetrical risk. So let's talk about the third reason. The third reason being it's a hedge against inflation, right? Bitcoin is often seen as a hedge against inflation due to its limited supply, right? It has scarcity attached to it. So unlike fiat currencies, which can be printed in unlimited quantities, only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist.
This is powerful.
Right. Yeah. So this goes back to supply and demand, right? So anytime there's a high demand and a limited supply, that equates to the
value
price
increasing.
Exactly, the value increasing over time. So lately, Bitcoin's demand has been skyrocketing due to, we're going to talk about it here in a second, but ETFs, right? Which stands for exchange traded funds. But not only just that, again, back to adoption. The adoption curve is growing. The community is growing in Bitcoin, and we're part of that community as well. But again, like the inflation deal, right?
Yeah.
So, the cost of living is increasing. That's one thing that Bitcoin has been keeping up with is a great hedge against the inflation right now. So, and if you ask the question, what do you think, the next decade is going to look like as far as the cost of living?
Everything's going up.
It's going up, right?
Yeah.
So historically, Bitcoin has been a great hedge against inflation, right? Anything else you want to mention on that?
No, but you kind of touched on point 4, which is the growing acceptance.
There we go.
So
let's talk about the fourth reason.
Yeah, so Bitcoin is increasing, or the adoption of Bitcoin has been increasing by institutions, companies, and individuals, which can drive its value and utility, supply and demand, up.
Yeah,
So more
exactly.
businesses are accepting Bitcoin as a form of exchange, a form of payment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have, institutions that are adding it almost like a treasury to their balance sheets.
Yeah.
One in particular is a company called MicroStrategy. By the CEO of that company is Michael Saylor. Go and do your research. You'll see what I'm referring to. But yeah, guys, that's something that's coming to fruition more and more. More public companies eventually may potentially start adding Bitcoin onto their balance sheets as that hedge to inflation,
It's being recognized as
a store of value,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah,
similar to gold,
right.
it's gained popularity as a form of digital gold
Yeah, exactly. And that's what that's another thing they call Bitcoin as
comparison.
well, digital gold. Yeah. So yeah, guys. So growing acceptance, the fourth reason why. So let's talk about the fifth reason. So technological innovation. So investing in Bitcoin also means investing in the blockchain technology that underpins it. Blockchain has numerous potential applications beyond cryptocurrency, such as supply chain management, healthcare, and finance. So we talked about the blockchain in the beginning of this episode. It's just basically like a ledger that records, like she mentioned earlier, the transactions,
Right.
and it cannot be manipulated. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's documented, and no one can come in and manipulate that. So there's a way for you to, track transactions, right, on the blockchain, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another reason. So let's talk about the sixth reason: decentralization.
So we talked about this already, but it's decentralized, which means that it's not controlled by a single entity, making it less susceptible to government interference or corporate manipulation.
Yeah, this is huge. So, the government, they print like crazy. It's called quantitative easing. Anytime you have back to supply and demand, so with dollars, there's trillions being printed, right?
Right.
So that decreases the value because there's so many that are being printed, right? So, which to the contrary with Bitcoin, there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever mined. Once all 21 million are mined, you can't go in and create any more, right? So yeah, that's one reason, or the sixth reason why you should have exposure to Bitcoin, right? So the seventh reason, liquidity. Bitcoin is highly liquid compared to many other investments, meaning it can be bought or sold quickly on various exchanges worldwide. So
Right.
how do you buy and sell Bitcoin? Is through an exchange, a crypto exchange. Unlike the stock market, it's through a brokerage. Crypto is through a crypto exchange. One highly popular one is Coinbase. So we actually have some of our Bitcoin through Coinbase. The cool thing about it, guys, you can buy 24/7, 365, right?
Right.
So like the stock market is closed right now, but if you want to buy some crypto, you can go and buy crypto right now. You can buy it whenever you want, right? So that's another cool thing about it.
So you have wallets there. So it's a software
Yeah.
program where Bitcoin is stored.
Right.
Okay.
So the eighth
The
reason,
next one
stored
is a
value.
stored value.
Right.
So some people view Bitcoin as a digital form of gold, which we just talked about, a store of value that can preserve wealth over time, especially in uncertain economic environments.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. Look, I had a conversation with a coworker a while back who actually asked me, "What do I think about gold?" I mean, what I advised him was like, "Hey, look, to each his own. It's a commodity you can invest in. However, the return historically, in comparison to Bitcoin, hasn't been as great.
Right.
It's more conservative. Again, you can invest in it, but I find, yeah,
Depends on your risk tolerance.
your risk tolerance. You know what I'm saying? But here's another thing. I say, hey, you could do both.
Yeah.
And then you compare for yourself.
Right.
So that's another great way to, kind of figure out which performs better, based
you.
on for you, right? And the final reason, guys, Bitcoin ETFs, right? Okay, so ETF stands for exchange traded funds, right? These are investment funds that track the price of Bitcoin and trade on the traditional stock exchanges, just like regular stocks, right? They offer investors a way to gain exposure to Bitcoin without having to buy, store, or manage the cryptocurrency directly. They provide an easier and more regulated way for investors to invest in Bitcoin. So you have asset management firms, some huge ones, by the way, that we talked about it before on this channel, but they were the SEC, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission. They basically approved their funds, so the ETFs, to be basically approved to where people can now purchase Bitcoin through the stock market in the form of an ETF. So like I just mentioned, they get exposure to Bitcoin that way. So there's pros and cons with that. But the main thing I want to emphasize on with that is that just goes back to that adoption of Bitcoin, because this is a game changer, guys. This is something that we didn't have
couple months ago.
Previous, like past, anytime past January this year. So, based on the trajectory of what's going on, man, look, it's only gonna. And by the way, the inflows have been the greatest for one particular company, asset management firm, BlackRock. They've taken in billions just within this July.
Yeah.
Well, we just started July today, but the previous 6 months, the inflows have been in the billions, which is crazy for an ETF. I think that's the most successful ETF launch in history, right? But this is just the beginning, guys. There's other asset firm managers or asset management firms that's gonna, have exposure, give their customers and clients exposure to Bitcoin in some form or fashion. But yeah, guys, look, so let's just talk about it for us. Like, we got into Bitcoin simply because of all these reasons. It just makes sense, I mean, honestly, I feel like we got in it kind of late.
Yeah, we did.
We
got in it earlier.
Everybody says that anytime you talk to anybody who's invested in Bitcoin, they all have that same excuse.
We did get in it earlier,
right.
But we got a little scared.
Yeah.
So
but we did that with a few investments we were in. We got in, got out. We didn't know what we were doing in the beginning, guys, but we have, we're more educated now on how to invest, buy and hold assets, not,
trying to trade.
Like, to be honest, like right now, we want it to go down even more so we can add to that portfolio and dollar cost average down, which we've actually been doing. Because recently it did hit an all-time high. This year, it hit an all-time high, I believe, of $73,750 a coin. And currently today, at the time of this recording, Bitcoin is trading currently at $62,889 a coin, right? So it's a little bit off its all-time highs right now. So for you out there who don't have exposure to Bitcoin, hey, not a bad time to add or create a position in Bitcoin.
And a common myth with Bitcoin, some people think that they have to purchase a whole coin. So people are not out here putting down $62,000 to purchase a whole coin.
Right.
So you can buy fractional Satoshis, and we did not go over that. But a Satoshi is kind of, the way that I think about it is like the dollars and cents. So Satoshis are the smallest units of Bitcoin. So one Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshis, is that right?
Yes, I believe so. One whole Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you can break it down that way too. Yeah, it's just Satoshis. Just like your stocks, you can buy fractional shares.
Yeah,
if you can't afford the entire share of a, certain stock or ETF, most of these platforms nowadays, the brokerages nowadays, you can actually buy a fractional share.
Yeah, there's minimums on different platforms.
Right. What else I want to emphasize about Bitcoin, man? Get y'all some Bitcoin, guys. We have it in a couple different exchanges that we use. We have some in a Roth IRA. We have some on Coinbase. I believe over the long haul, this could be probably like a lot of people's opportunity to get some real wealth for themselves, because it's not many assets that have this type of momentum.
This type of return.
Yeah, I mean, the returns have been crazy, so,
and it's still fairly new.
It is. It's only 15 years old,
right.
But the thing about it is, in the beginning days, you could almost probably scratch off the first, 10 years. Like 2018 is when it really, really started. Well, actually 2013 is when it kind of started gaining more momentum than what it was since inception in 08.
If only I knew in 2013 what I know now.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. We all could say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But look, I'm going to tell y'all the best way to learn about Bitcoin is just buy some. Get you some. Go on your cell phone. get you a Coinbase account, and just start dibbling into it. You know what I'm saying? Buy you some, and pay attention to the high,
How
you
it's
know,
moving.
right, and stay a student. Like, look, here's the thing: we still students, guys. We don't know it all. We watch a lot of content in regards to Bitcoin. We continue to educate ourselves, and you want to do that with anything you want to invest in. By the way, not just Bitcoin. We do that with our stock portfolio. We pay attention to our real estate market. We study it. So just like anything you want to invest in, know what you're invested in. It's a shame. I know people out there they have money invested but don't even know what they're invested in. So that don't make any sense to me.
That's kind of what happens whenever you let somebody else be in charge of your portfolio. But you should still manage the manager.
Yeah. If you have investments right now and you don't know what you're investing in, that's a shame. Go find out today. And then also see what your returns have been. Pay attention to that,
Yeah.
Again, guys, we're a little nerdy like that, so I think everybody should be, though, when it comes to their money. You should know how hard your money is working. It's very important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. Hey, look, this video's archived, so we're gonna see. We're not gonna stop doing this channel. So come back, in about 5 years from now and see. Let's see what
growth.
Bitcoin look like. Yeah, let's see what it look like then. 5 years from now, what that be? 2029. Yeah, let's see what it look like in 2029. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of see, and then
Compare.
Then we'll be able to ask you, hey, so your homework. Let's say your homework today is buy you some Bitcoin, right? Go online, get you some Bitcoin. And then, that's the best way to learn, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
And anytime you invest, you're wanting it to be something that you do regularly. So don't just put $20, purchase $20 worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You want to continuously invest. So do it, create a pattern.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So look, guys, that's pretty much today's episode. We just wanted to give y'all a little game on Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, and why you should have exposure to it. Again, go back and do your own due diligence. Fact check everything that we just mentioned. Make sure that we said everything accurately. Stay a student in life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's gonna wrap up today's episode. We appreciate y'all coming. Join us again next week. This is the third quarter, guys. This is the first day of the third quarter. Half the year's gone. So, hopefully y'all goals have been up to par up to this point. So let's finish the second half of the year strong. So we're going to catch y'all next week. Until then, y'all take care.
Peace.